Christian theocracy, Christian nationalism, as Marjorie Taylor Greene now openly discusses, is spreading in drugstores? Yeah, that's right. You guys might remember the story about Walgreens denying a married couple condoms, or delaying the birth control of a young woman based on the Walgreens worker's religious beliefs. Those are fun, but there's another aspect to this, and that is people being sent free baby formula based on purchases they might have made at Walgreens or online. Now, mind you, we're still in a baby formula shortage. So let's get into the details. It started on social media. Folks are posting this first tweet from Nicole. She says, Dear Walgreens, I received this package today a week after purchasing a pregnancy test at your store. I was asked to take the test by my doctor despite having no fallopian tubes. So clearly Nicole doesn't, or had an operation to remove the fallopian tubes, can't get pregnant, took a pregnancy test, already a little bit invasive by her doctor. And then because this was at a Walgreens, was sent free baby formula. There's a lot of presumption in that, and I don't want to presume that Walgreens necessarily did it on purpose, but there is more where that came from. So there's an Ohio woman named Molly Carlin who also took to Twitter to @Enfamil, which is one of the biggest, one of 4 baby formula companies. Hey, Enfamil, can you tell me why I received a free package of baby formula in the mail during a national formula shortage? Don't think my 19-year-old twins need it as much as many others do. And again, that first package was also from Enfamil. This is from Jay Williamson. This is all in like a 2-week span. How do you explain why I, a 40-year-old child-free woman, 40-year-old child, that's me. 40-year-old child-free woman received 2 unsolicited huge free samples yesterday. Enfamil, please explain your targeting method for these samples and what your expected rate of lost product to be. Seems like extreme corporate negligence. Now, Enfamil can explain. They have a lot to say. In fact, their parent company, Reckitt, a spokesperson for Reckitt, the parent company of Enfamil, sent a statement to USA Today saying it does not have access to Walgreens customers' personal information. To receive any promotional items from Reckitt, consumers must opt in and provide consent either with Reckitt directly or with one of its partners. A statement said, Reckitt, which includes the Enfamil brand, is committed to protecting our consumers' privacy, and we treat your personal information extremely seriously. Sure you do. Everyone takes data super seriously when they're selling it to third parties. Molly Carlin, wasn't enough for her. She tweeted back at Enfamil, I've never heard of Reckitt, so I wouldn't have opted in to any promotional materials, let alone baby formula when my twins were born in 2003. Maybe more efficient customer research before mailing out baby formula to just anyone during a national shortage. And on that national shortage, y'all, this is just this week, Wednesday, the FDA touted progress and it's addressing the crisis. But the latest data shows nearly a third of powdered formula products are still out of stock nationwide, according to the market research company IRI. What the hell's going on? What are we doing here? Is this a weird ploy to sort of double down on a like pro forced birth agenda and like, hey, maybe, yeah, I guess you didn't want the baby, but maybe this formula will change your mind? Ray, would it change your mind?
I think that is so invasive. And like, even if it isn't Walgreens selling the data, like it could be you Googled pregnancy test after your doctor said you need to go get one. And then they sold the data. Because I mean, at the heart of this really, I think is a story about how horrifying data collection and data sales are. It's very unregulated. It's extraordinarily invasive. All sorts of information about you can be purchased by anybody. Literally anybody could buy your data, and you never know what they're going to do with it. And in this case, what they're doing with it is throwing away baby formula during a shortage when people desperately need it, which is just, all of this, of course, is rooted in capitalism, making data profitable, and companies willing to throw away their product during a shortage because it's not necessarily hurting them financially, but.
Yes, I mean, and you're absolutely right. And we're coming off the back of a pandemic in which people were saying, "Oh, my HIPAA rights. Well, I can't tell you if I'm vaccinated because my HIPAA rights." You're just pulling out of thin air. Now we have an actual healthcare crisis, which is the obliteration of reproductive rights around the country, the forced births for women around the country and people around the country. And now we're actually seeing what violations of privacy look like. And funnily enough, we're seeing why we had something like Roe in the first place, which again, it wasn't based on a constitutional amendment that said abortion. It was based on the right to privacy and how reproductive rights are absolutely associated with that right to privacy. I just have to say, look, the baby formula industry is insanely conniving. Again, it is a consolidated conglomerate. What's it called? Why am I blanking on the name for this? I've got pregnancy brain. But there's only 4 companies that run the whole gamut, right? And you have to know this about them. So this is graphic 10. During the Trump administration, US delegates to the UN threatened countries with sanctions and the withdrawal of military aid if they supported an anodyne international resolution in support of breastfeeding as a healthy option for infants. That was a stage managed by the baby formula industry, which particularly wanted to keep its lock on the developing world. The interests of private monopolists were put ahead of public health and security. They're straight up lobbying against breast milk on an international level to keep their control on formula, on baby food, which again is just sugar and cow's milk. Okay, final thing. Walgreens, pretty right wing. According to a report by the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, they made 11 members donate donations to 11 members of what it calls the Sedition Caucus. So we know folks who didn't believe that the 2020 election was legitimately won. In November 2021, according to disclosures reviewed by this organization, the pledge-breaking donations total more than $25,000. Biggest recipients from Walgreens were House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and Minority Whip Steve Scalise at $5,000 each. Walgreens is not an innocent actor in this, so just add it to the list of all the things that are happening.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.